Alright class, settle down, class is in session, everyone get to your seats. We're going to try and get ourselves ready for winter by just not spending too many resources. We don't need to adventure too much more, so pretty much nearing the end of the series. Once I've done that, we're pretty much going to be done. I could show you some other things you can do in winter, but pretty much we're just going to kill McTusk and Sons over and over again until we get the items from them. That's just something interesting. Maybe we'll be lucky and Deerclops will show up. But other than that, you know, this is basically a sustainable base. You're not going to starve to death with a setup like this pretty much ever if you don't do anything too reckless. And everything is pretty much going to be fine from here. I could show you a later on setup to show you how to survive the massive hound waves that you're going to end up dealing with much later. But, I mean, that is much further down the road, so it's not anything you're going to have to worry about for quite some time. As you can see, that Honeyham pretty much fully brought up my stamina again, so just gonna shave once more. That in there, we've got 4. We can build a meat effigy now, which we're not going to use yet. We've still got that touchstone, so best to leave that be for now. Speaking of bee, looks like I don't, not going to get enough from that, so I'm going to leave them alone. I could hunt more butterflies, increase the honey yield, but things are going pretty well, so I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to do, though, is just get some more charcoal. The reason I want more charcoal is that I want to be able to use more boomerangs, and boomerangs are going to be important come winter, and I'll show you why then. You know what? Actually, I do have one thing I can do to get some cheap gold. This monster meat's about to go bad. I don't want it to go bad, obviously, so let's just cook it all up. Okay, so we got 8 monster meat. Let's feed it all to our bird. As you can see, as you feed him monster meat, he poops out eggs. Now these eggs are great. You can feed them to the Pig King, and they count as meat. Monster meat, strangely, does not count as meat. You could use monster jerky, but it's a much slower method since you have to wait for the meat to jerky. But let's go on a bit of a pilgrimage. It's a fairly long walk, but we don't go to the Pig King that often. I think I also had a garden gnome, so let's grab that. I could go grave robbing and have more of these doodads, but let's avoid that for now. Let's just run straight to the Pig King. Our base is already set up for winter pretty well. We could do with another koalafant, but we don't really need another koalafant to survive since we've got plenty of jerky that'll last us throughout the entire winter, mixed with the honey and monster meat that we've got stored up. And even if we didn't have the monster meat, I mean, at this point, I could just use rabbit as filler. That would be a legitimate way to fill up that crock pot and get the food that I want. Where the hell's that Pig King? Over here. Looks like the frogs are still pretty much out of control over here. Pig has some really bad real estate here. So you want to limit your Pig King journeys to as rarely as possible. So just do it when you've got like large amounts of near the end of its shelf life monster meat. Other than that, you don't really need to go there. I'm gonna pick these berry bushes and relocate them nearer to my base, just because I might as well, honestly. In all honesty. Grab some twigs while we're at it. Oh. Okay, so let's chop these down. I think I'll leave that carrot there for now. And just march our way up to where the Pig King lives. To offer our gifts or whatever, I'm not really sure. Huh, we've got some armor there from a dead guy, but it's not, it's grass armor, so it's not that useful. Okay, so he gives you a ton of stuff for toys, and he gives you 1 per piece of meat, no matter what type of meat. So what you always want to give him is something like eggs. You know, maybe morsels if you're desperate, but you know, eggs are probably the best thing because you can make them out of rotten meat or monster meat. Perfect. And while we're up here, let's go get this koalafant. You know, this might end up being a nighttime hunting expedition, which would be bad. But, you know, let's not worry too much about that. The problem is that it is in the woods, and finding the koalafant in the woods is a little bit tricky sometimes. Let's see here. It's down here somewhere. Through the spiders. Becomes very hard to see these tracks at dusk. I don't think I'll be able to catch this one. Especially also hard to see it in the woods, so. There it is. Hopefully he's heading out towards the... Oh no! Perfect. That was fast. Now with boomerangs, you have to catch it by tapping the spacebar once it's about to hit you. So as soon as the boomerang's about to peg you in the face, tap spacebar. Okay, let's just eat on these berries. Now I'm going to replant this just because I need another inventory slot for another torch. Because that took us a little bit longer than I honestly probably should have done. But yeah, that got us a good bump of meat before winter comes, so let's just run on back to base as fast as possible. It was a very bountiful trip. Got lots of meat, we've got lots of gold. Very profitable trip. And that's a good way to get koalafant, is just koalafant of opportunity. You made the mistake of being relatively near wherever the hell it was going to be that you were, and then you killed him. You know. Such is life sometimes when you're a koalafant. Okay, it's night now, so let's head on back to camp. I don't think I'm going to make it before day even starts, but who knows. There we go. And things are looking good. We've got so much food. We're going to want to get more silk so that we can build a tent, because our sanity is starting to drift a little bit lower, or we could catch beardlings over winter, which is also a good way to spend your winter. And I did say I wasn't going to be killing any rabbits, but, you know, beardlings don't count. And, you know, they're pretty much the only way to get the resource that they drop, so that's also fine. Got that. And, yeah, this is going to be the last day before winter, I think. Let's toss all this in here. Good, good. These drying racks are actually done. I should have grabbed the, should have left the beef out for a little bit longer, the meat, rather. Okay, let's, where the hell is it? There we go. Okay. Sorted. Let's toss this in there. Let's grab one of these and make ourselves a honey ham. Now, obviously we're full, so we don't need to eat it, but, you know, toss it on there anyway. So I think we're ready for winter to come. I just wish it would come faster. Let's harvest this honey. Alright, perfect. I'll get those lazy bees out of their home. An interesting thing you can do is also get them to do that in winter, when they would normally not be out getting flowers. They would normally just stay in their hive all winter. If you take their honey, they'll come out and they'll start harvesting flowers. And if there's enough honey, they'll produce a couple points of it. And then that way you can just sort of keep doing that every morning and harvest honey every day in winter as long as you've got enough flowers set up there. Okay, today I'm going to go get more silk because I want to build a tent. But realistically, I'm just sort of killing time before winter comes. I can pick up more manure so I can fertilize more of my stuff. There's some rot up here too, which is nice. Looks like these beefalo are handling these spiders to a certain degree, but the spiders don't usually attack beefalo. They're afraid of beefalo, so... Missed my clever trap. Bastards. Okay. But yeah, this is sort of just what you do when you've got nothing better to do. You know, keep control of your spiders' nests because it's really important you keep control of your spider's nest before you end up with a bunch of queens. Nothing is worse than a map full of spider queens. This is also a good source of spider meat, which... Oh, crap. Spider meat, you know, or monster meat rather, very good for if you want to be making recipes. It's not good if you're not crock-potting. It's also a good way to get gold, obviously, as you saw. But yeah, this is where you end up getting large stacks of monster meat, and this is pretty much the only thing you can do with them is either turn it into gold or put it in the crock pot. So it's useful filler, I guess. It's the best I can say for it. Okay, let's drop this down here. And that was a pretty fruitful trip. I think I've got enough silk for a tent. We'll set that up. That'll be nice. Tents restore about 75 sanity, if I recall. And they have the benefit compared to a straw roll. A straw roll will drain a little bit of your hunger. Actually, it's quite a bit of your hunger. I think it's 75 hunger for using a straw roll. A tent doesn't drain that, and it's 6 uses. So it's a pretty good way to use your resources. You just use it every time it looks like your sanity's taking a nosedive. I'm just going to do a quick double check around these spiders' nests here, since I obviously, again, don't want them reaching level 3 for too long. Looks like this one, yeah, that one's level 1 again. The one down here is probably level 2. But it's most important when you're dealing with the ones near your house. You don't want the ones near your house getting into high levels. The ones that are far, far away that you're never going to go to again, it's fine if they turn to spider queens, because you won't be going there. That one's still level 1, in fact. Perfect. Alright, so let's head back to base and make ourselves a rainometer, or whatever it's called, and the winterometer. Got some other base improvements to do. We got these bushes to put down. We'll put them sort of outside our base. We don't want them in it, because they catch fire pretty easily. Fertilize. And we're also going to use this manure to fertilize this. Reason being that it's not going to grow before winter comes. That's just a piece of corn, so nothing too good. Let's add fuel to this. And build our science stuff. So what do we need for these things? A winterometer, we need 2 boards, so let's go build those boards. We'll put our winterometer over here. Yeah, winter looks like it's just about here, or is here. We can build our rain one just for the hell of it. 2 boards and 2 rope is what I need to make. So let's go build that. You know, these are absolutely useless. They just tell you when it is cold, which your character knows. and when it's raining, which your character will also know. But, you know, fun to build, and I like having them in my base, honestly. Let's toss that on there. Let's spend tonight eating a koalafant trunk. Rare delicacy. And we'll top off. Actually, we're topped off, so that's fine. Next, let's build ourselves a tent. Do I need more silk? Let's just grab all of it for now and see how things go. If I recall, I need some rope for this. Let's get into survival. Straw roll. A tent requires 3 rope. Wow. Okay, let's get into survival. Tent. And we're going to put our tent over here. Entirely superfluous, relatively unnecessary structure, but it's nice to have. As you can see, our base is getting pretty ridiculously big, so we're going to actually want to get enough stones for another fire pit, which we're going to put nearer to the tent so that we can go sleep in it without worrying. Now, the other way to do this is you just go to sleep earlier, but that seems like a waste of time to me. You know, you've got a lot of day that you could use otherwise. Anyway, let's toss the spider silk in here. We've got tons of spider silk. Let's drop, I think I had, oh no wait, that was this chest, okay. So let's toss that in there. Again, we need more wood, so we'll go on wood chopping duty come winter. Not that bad in winter, chopping wood. What you really need to sort of look out for are days where you have to travel long distances. And last thing I wanted to do, I think, was get more charcoal. I forgot about that. I burned down a tree, too. I forget where that was. Our sanity, taking slow, steady decline. It's down to 155, but it's still within a relatively stable region. It's still relatively high, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. We're going to have to collect grass throughout the winter. I probably used a little bit too much of it. We still haven't found Chester, which is a bit unfortunate, but, you know, I don't know where he could really be. He's obviously in some of the parts of the map that I haven't explored yet, but those are pretty narrow. Okay, so what you want to look for is the bluebirds. That'll mean that it is officially winter, and it is officially winter. So those guys are just going to be around, so that means I can go visit McTusk and Sons. But for that, I do want more boomerangs, because McTusk fights with a blowgun, a ranged weapon. So if you're relying on your sort of spear or whatever to kill him, it's not going to work. Now, while that's burning, let's chop down this tree. Now, honestly, I view it better to kill McTusk and Sons when it's still not too cold, when you can still sort of get around without freezing to death. But you can kill him in the depths of winter, and I'm not even sure if he spawns this early on, honestly. So, we'll find out. We have his camp, he's relatively near us, and he drops some really great items if you kill him, so worthwhile. A little bit cruel, probably, since, you know, it's his father and his kid out on a hunting expedition with their 2 dogs. I mean, it's probably not the nicest things you can do, but, you know, whatever. Okay, let's build ourselves a board. Okay, and I forgot, I do need one more spider silk. Take it all with us while we're out. And let's go hunting some walruses. Now, once again, boomerang, you have to pick it up on the way back. When it starts returning to you, it'll hit you in the face if you don't hit spacebar when it's about to hit you, so always be careful that you do that. There they are. Okay, let's put on this log armor. as you can see, he's got a ranged weapon. Ouch. Okay, so you just sort of wait for him to throw that, or shoot that. I'm failing so hard here. Not a good example. This is why, though, you wear both your armor. Okay, so he's dead. Damn it. Okay, but let's switch back to the spear, though, in any event. Hard to commentate while fighting him. His son runs back into his house because he's a bit of a wuss, but yeah, we've got him. He gives a blow dart, and we had him drop the walrus tusk, which is good. Monster meat, and we finally got these stupid teeth. The blue hounds, they're ice hounds, they only appear in winter, and they drop these blue gems as well. Very useful, you can use them to make an ice staff. But yeah, as you can see, that's McTusk and Sons. The important thing that you can get from them, though, is the walrus tusk and the hat that he didn't drop. He drops hats very rarely, so I'll be going back and forth farming him out. Another thing I'm going to start doing is building traps around these rabbits. And I did say I'm not going to eat any rabbits, and I'm going to hold to that. What I'm going to be doing is using this to capture rabbits that are going to turn evil. And the evil rabbits can be used to make nightmare fuel, which is very useful. That's something that I'm going to need. Now, there are other ways to get nightmare fuel, but as far as I know, it's the only really effective way to do it. So, this is winter. As you can see, we've survived on our way to winter. Let's see if what I've got for a setup here is sufficient to survive through winter. So, until then, I hope you found this informative, and I hope to see you all next time.